Taravangian forfeited everything. Wind and Truth spoilers ahead. At the end of Wind and Truth, when Retribution destroys Wit, did he forfeit all of his land? Killing the king or Queen's Wit results in a forfeiture of any lands you possess. Retribution, at the end of Wind and Truth, destroys Wit. So does this mean that Retribution has to give up all of Roshar to Jasnah? First, let's look at the contest terms. A contest of champions to the death. We each send a willing champion allowed to meet at the top of Urithiru, otherwise unharmed by either side's forces. If I, Dalinar, win this contest, you will remain bound to the system, but you will return Althakar and her dads to me, with all of their occupants intact. You will vow to cease hostilities and maintain the peace, not working against my allies or our kingdoms in any way. But if I, Odium, win, I keep everything I've won, including your homeland. I still remain bound to the system and will cease hostilities as you said above, but I will have your soul to serve me immortal. At face value, there's nothing particularly damning about that phrasing. But then Hoid spots a loophole. Paraphrase, he said, Dalinar negotiated for the return of entire kingdoms. Per Alethi law, that means capturing the seat of power. So individual cities are not being conquered. You either conquer the kingdom by assuming its seat of power, or you lose the entire thing. Chapter 145 has the next relevant piece of information. Coming from Taravangian's viewpoint, shortly after he became Retribution, Taravangian thinks to himself, he would have to let Azir keep its land, as they have won. Wouldn't he? Dalinar had broken the contract, but Honor wanted desperately to follow it, and Taravangian had to be careful lest the power rebel against him. So we know Taravangian is still bound to the contract. It isn't null and void. And so the million-dollar question then, is does killing Wit require Taravangian to give up his lands? This depends. Did Retribution change any Alethi law in this time? Is Jasnah still the queen, or is Gavinor the king now? I think both of these can be answered pretty definitively. No, Alethi law was not changed before killing Wit. Taravangian got the Blackthorn, and then the powers told him to go after Wit immediately. I think this implies that no law has changed, and Jasnah should still be queen. If we go back to Oathbringer, when Elhokar tries to make Dalinar his monarch, Dalinar says, if you really want to swear this oath, I'll let you, but let's not pretend you can sweep into a room, shout a few words, and assume it's a legal contract. So, is that it? Does that mean that Taravangian unwittingly gave up all of his lands to Jasnah? Well, probably not. As soon as the contest of champions is over, borders are frozen and the contract is completed. Taravangian has to follow the non-interference agreement in perpetuity. However, there isn't any reason to believe that he is forever bound by all Alethi law, or even just Alethi law that relates to borders and their disputes. He just can't interfere. So, while this by no means completely proves that Retribution will have to give up his land, I highly doubt that